I literally have probably 100-something tabs open on my computer about things that we should talk about today. How we should talk about Hillary Clinton blaming white Christian men on why this country is going to hell in a handbasket, which is, I mean, the irony of that. Gavin Newsom on the Colbert Show, Stephen Colbert Show, just being as stupid as humanly possible, the only way Gavin Newsom knows how to do. How we could talk about the ICE shooting in Texas, the guy who just randomly shot up an ICE detainee center, and instead of hitting the ICE agents, which I'm pretty sure he wanted to aim for, he hit actual ICE detainees, and then on his bullets he wrote anti-ICE, and his mom happens to be a little batshit. If you've seen any of the stuff that she's posted in the past, we could talk about that. We could talk about more stuff with Kamala Harris and her little book tour that she's doing and how incredibly out of touch with any sort of reality she is. There is so much going on. Not to mention, obviously, the ongoing did they or didn't they, or did he or didn't he, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. There is still so much information out there that seems non-believable, along with so many misdirections of everything. It feels like right now, y'all, it feels like right now we are in the middle of just a cyclone of fuckery. That's the only way I know how to put it. There is no way for you to focus your mind on any one thing that's going on because so many things are going on. So my husband, Kevin, you guys have probably seen him before on YouTube, Kevin247. He and I were talking yesterday or the day before, and he mentions to me that he saw this study that said people's anger lasts for 90 seconds and then it'll start to, simmer down a little bit. And so that's the whole thing I took from everything I've been looking at today is that you're scrolling on social media. We are doom scrolling, whether we want to or not, because everything we're being shown is, doom and gloom, right? So you're doom scrolling on social media, just trying to keep up with what's actually going on in our country since we live here, right? And you get really, really mad at something, the shooting, the assassination, the words out of Gavin Newsom's mouth, the words out of Hillary Clinton's mouth. You get really mad at it, and then you're shown something non-angry, right? Maybe there's like a cat or a dog that pops up for some weird reason, or a baby. They like to intersperse these things within all the horrific news, it seems. And then right when you think that you're going to be able to calm down, here comes more negative, because they need you every 90 seconds to be just irate. We watched 28 days later, day before yesterday. Last night we watched 28 weeks later, and tonight we're going to watch 28 years later. Now, I know a lot of people are like, oh, why would you watch those kind of movies? And it's because they interest the crap out of me, because if you've ever seen them, one, don't give away 28 years later, because I haven't seen it yet. So don't jump in the comments and tell me all the stuff. I didn't even watch the preview for it. I don't like watching previews for movies. I like just guessing and going, right? Anyway, the very first one, so maybe I'm actually cat out of the bag on this one, but the very first one, 28 days later, these people go into a chimp testing facility where they're doing something to these animals, these chimpanzees, these monkeys, these whatever. I honestly don't know how to tell the difference between what's what in these movies, like what kind of monkey it is. I think it's just a chimpanzee. I don't know. And they go to break in because they want to release them, because the people who don't want the animal testing and the whatnots. So they go to break in, and the first thing you see is that they have this, we're just gonna go with chimp. They have this chimp on a table, and all these TV screens all around him, and they have all these electrodes and things all over him. And what I noticed, before even knowing what the movie's about, that they're showing him, or her, whatever the chimp happens to be, I have no idea, whatever. They're showing all this negative stuff, all this fighting, all this anger, all this fire and gunshots and explosions and fist fights and hangings and beatings and all these other things. They're showing all of this, and this chimp is like having to take all of it in, seeing it, hearing it, with nothing in the middle to block out the hate, the anger, the violence, the whatever else. And then they're trying to release them, and this doctor or whatever, scientist or whatever, comes in that's been working there, and he's like, you can't release them. They are sick. They have a virus. And the person goes, well, what kind of virus? And he says, hate. He said hate or anger. I feel like it's important if I remembered which one. Hate virus, anger virus. One of the two, which I do feel are very hand in hand and synonymous with each other. They either had a hate virus or an anger virus, whatever. And these people are laughing at it like, that's not a virus. And so they let one of the chimps out. And that chimp just destroys the girl, rips her face off, goes crazy. And then that's when everything starts. And I'm watching it and I'm like, hello, we're living in this movie. Like right now, we're living in this movie. We're not chimps, obviously, but we're living in this movie because you see all of this violence on TV, all of this anger, all of this everything, all of this emotion all the time. And a lot of us aren't taking time to step back and do a little woo-saw, do a little soul searching or soul cleansing, do a little spiritual whatevering. And so we're surrounded by all this stuff, and our emotions are like hair trigger. We're so quick to verbally get into an altercation with somebody, physically get into an altercation with somebody, to snap at people, to walk around with like this face all day long, just a constant furrowed brow, resting bitch face, any of these kind of things you want to call it. And we're being like molded that way. Maybe that's the right word. Molded. We're being made to have more of a anger, hate, frustration, sort of emotional daily whatever than happy and joyful and anything else that could be positive, right? It's absolutely crazy when you step back and look at everything that's going on. Jimmy Kimmel back on the air last night. We could have talked about that, right? Like I did not watch him. I told you I would not. I'm not going to give him a rating. They're talking about how him being back on the air last night got the most views ever. And it's because we are rubberneckers. We want to see the train wreck, like watch the train wreck. That's all it was. Nobody tuned into Jimmy Kimmel last night because they gave a single shit about what he was going to say, or they wanted to see him because they missed him being on air, or they're actually entertained by him. People tuned in to see what negative thing was going to happen, if somebody in the audience was going to do something, if Jimmy Kimmel himself was going to say something. And that's why people tuned in, because we look for the negative. And it's concerning. Obviously it's concerning. But at the same time, it's like, well, how do you stop yourself? Like, when you're being programmed to always think the worst of people, to immediately go on the defensive if somebody says something you don't agree with, when you're being programmed to, dislike people that don't look like you, don't think like you, don't sound like you, don't live like you, it has a legit toll on your everything, your body, your emotion, your health in general, your psyche, like all of it has an effect on it. And I, as hypocritical as I sound, going, guys, we got to stop, because I do tell y'all the stuff that's going on. It's very difficult not to. I literally sat here. This is my iPad. It's 5:26. I've been sitting here since 4:40. Looking at all the things that I have saved to talk to you guys about, going, but I don't want to, but I don't want to, but I don't want to. When I got home this morning, I dropped my daughter off at school and I came home, like immediately home, so I could make breakfast. Because my husband had a headache last night and this morning. He's like, I think I need some food, whatever. I said, okay, let me take the kid to school. I'll be back. I'll make some breakfast. That way it'll help, drink some coffee. Caffeine will help with the headache. Don't take the Tylenol. I don't take Tylenol. I try not to, as long as humanly possible, to stay away from it in general. Just anything that comes in a pill bottle, I don't want to take. I would much rather find a better solution for something. Normally, go to sleep. Something feels wrong, you don't feel good, go to sleep. That's normally what I prefer. But anyway, I get back with her, from dropping off her, and I walk in, and the first thing he said was, hey, you might want to go live real quick. And I said, what for? He said, there's a sniper. And I said, no. He said, well, your audience probably wants to hear your take on it. I said, I understand. It is too early in the day to put my mind and my mental well-being in that space. I'm not going to do it. I love you so much, but would you like some bacon with your eggs? I couldn't do it. Not because I don't want you guys to be informed, but because I personally don't want to put myself through the process of what it takes to inform you sometimes. Selfish, yes, 100%, because at the end of the day, my mental health and my emotional health are the most important thing, right? Because without those, I am useless to everybody, to my husband, to my child, to myself, to y'all. So I have to make sure that I am taking care of myself. And after seeing, y'all, I've said it numerous times and I will say it again. After watching and seeing without any warning what happened to Charlie Kirk, it fucked me up. Like, I don't know any like easier way to say that. Like, you don't realize, oh, come on, what are we doing here? You don't realize the toll that something can take on you until it's already been taken. I wanted to say tooken. That's not a word, but that's a word that my husband and I use because it's funnier that way. But like, I knew when I saw it happen, I was like, oh gosh, like my whole body just immediately felt sick, right? And then y'all know, we've talked about it since then, that it's been hard for me to kind of move past it. And I try to stay away from the information on it. I don't really want to talk about it that much because then my mind starts replaying it. And now because everybody's worried about what's real, what's not, they're replaying a bunch of parts of it. And even though you don't see the actual blood in a lot of these videos, I still know what happens after, and it messes with me. And I don't know if it's because of that. I don't know if it's because it then makes me think of my Nana, which has no correlation whatsoever at all to what happened to Charlie Kirk. But it's one of those things of traumatic loss that you didn't expect to happen. And those kind of things stick with you, right? So then, over the past couple days, with all the, there's a shooting here and a shooting there, and I know that it's all a push to at some point go after, your Second Amendment, to go after the guns. That's what it's always about, is the push to go after guns. I'm like, I can't get into it and have a normal conversation about it because none of it's normal. That's the other part. None of this shit is normal. Think about when you were a kid. The world was not like this. When I was a kid, the world was not like this. And even if it was, which it wasn't, we obviously didn't have social media to shove it in your face every 5 seconds. I saw a thing earlier that talked about how Johnny Carson was the most loved late time talk show host ever. It's because he was never political. He never talked about his own personal politics or anything like that, because Johnny Carson believed that it was that his show was a place where people went to get away from all of the negative and everything that was going on in the daily lives. And I can understand that, which is why, like, some days I just don't want to talk about what's happening. And then I'm like, but you're ow, I broke my toe earlier, I'm pretty sure, and I just touched it and it hurt really bad. I kicked the tire on a cart by accident. I don't know if you're as clumsy as I am, but that hurts really bad. What was I saying? I'm so sorry. Oh, I want to bring you guys all the information, right? Because I feel like maybe the way I do it is a little less than some other people, channels, whatever. But right now, there is so much going on. It's difficult. It's difficult to do so. I don't want to talk about the kid that shot up the ICE facility. Kid, he's 22. He's not a kid. Because I'm almost 44, I think that's a kid. He's not a kid. He's a grown-ass man, right? Doing really stupid things. And I want to talk about Hillary Clinton and how much Botox have you had, man? Because you don't look like Hillary. I want to talk about that. I want to talk about Kamala Harris and how I can't tell when she talks now if she's had way too much to drink or she hasn't started drinking yet, because it all kind of runs together. I want to talk about all these things. Today is just not the day to do it. Tomorrow's a different day. Tomorrow, more shit's probably going to pop off and give us something totally different to talk about. Yeah, I'm just saying. Your mental health, your emotional well-being are extremely, extremely, extremely important. And being informed on everything that's going on is still important. But my husband asked me one day, he goes, at the end of the day, how does it affect you? Like, whatever happened in that country, how does it affect your daily life? Most of the time it doesn't. But I still find myself in the whole, oh my God, can you believe what happened over here? And then he's like, how did it affect you? I'm like, well, it didn't, but it was interesting, or it made me have this emotional reaction. He was like, exactly. If it does not affect you and your family, you can't let it affect you mentally and emotionally like that. And I'm like, that makes sense. Yet I have a tendency to be affected by all of it. Anyway, but tomorrow is a whole new day. Hopefully tomorrow there's less, morons out there doing moronic things. We'll see what happens. I love y'all immensely. I always want you to know that, and I'm always appreciative of the fact that you give me a place to have a voice, even if the voice, like today, isn't really helping you with anything. It's just me getting things out of my head and off my chest and whatever else, because it helps me. I will always appreciate you for it. So that's that. That is all. That's squirrel face, by the way. I try not to do it too often. My 2.0 crew, they know, but I have a tendency to. It's not cute. It's very not cute. I'm fully aware. Anyway, that's all. I love y'all. I'll see you later. Make sure that before you go to bed, look at something funny, happy, whatever. Don't go to bed with this on your face. It's not good for your sleep pattern throughout the night. So it's better. Okay? I love y'all. Goodbye.